Welcome back to 10 Tenths Podcast. I'm your host, Robert Vero, and I have Adam, and I have Austin, who is from a different podcast, but he is going to be helping us on our podcast.
He's formerly.
Yeah, former podcast host on a different podcast.
I'm so used to seeing Adam in the Radical Podcast shirt that
I'm wearing it right now just to spite him. I actually was like, I seeked it out and wore it just to kind of be a dick about it.
I went and found my 10 Tenths shirt.
I do that. It's funny. The guys are like, I got your shirt on. No, I got your shirt on.
We did this at Grid Life last year.
It's true. We did.
I got on a Petrolbox shirt, so it is what it is.
Shut up, cat. My cat's meowing at the door again.
We just started.
I probably should have fed him. It's fine, though.
Amateur hour over here.
Cats can go days without eating. It's science.
My cat could miss a meal or two. I'm just saying.
So could both of my dogs. It's fine.
He's a fat one.
Guys, it's 2020. Are we fat shaming right now?
Is that
my cat? Absolutely.
I think that's the only shaming we're allowed to do anymore.
Okay.
My girlfriend is adamant about the fact that we can't make the munchkin fat because she doesn't want his tummy to drag on the ground. So when we got him, we had to cut back on food for the other one too, because it's kind of hard to feed cats separately because they don't just eat it when it's presented to them like a dog. So he did lose a few pounds after we got the munchkin.
Poor cat.
He's fine. He's no worse for wear. Trust me. He's doing fine for himself.
This is the one that disappeared, right?
Yeah, the little fucker ran away a couple weeks ago.
But he came back.
I was legit beside myself, upset, because I love that cat more than probably anything except maybe my kid most days. Some days it's fair. A little touch and go.
I can relate to that, but with dogs. So I understand.
Yeah. And so, dude, I'll bet I walked around the block calling for that cat 30 times in one day. And one time when I was walking around the house, of course, the one time around the block, the one time I didn't bring my phone, my dog starts barking at the door, and my girlfriend went to see what it was, and there's the cat sitting on the front step.
That's awesome, though.
I was super pumped, but I was too far away from the house, and I didn't have my phone, so I kept walking, and she's yelling for me, and I finally heard it, and I come running back to the house, literally tears in my eyes with excitement. Dude, I was so pumped that cat came home. I don't care. I'll say it on the podcast.
No, that's awesome.
Pets are better than most people, man. So
pets are absolutely better than people. When that cat
passes away, I'm going to need a week off.
So, I don't blame you, man.
Yeah.
I'm super attached to my pets.
Yeah.
I'm the guy that goes to a party and ignores all the humans and pets the dog.
Yeah, pets the dog. That's exactly right.
Not a joke. 100%. That is me.
I'm that guy too. So
I'm fine with other people's dogs. I don't need my own.
There's a lot more work involved. Yes, I get that.
There is, but there's a lot more
love involved. The dogs care.
My cat loves me just as much as any dog.
No way, Jose.
No way, Jose. As the owner of both, I will agree that most cats are not on the level of dog. I get it.
Yeah.
But my cat, he's different.
We're going to turn this into a thing, aren't we? Cats versus dogs.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be on the consortium this week for sure. Because it's going to be Adam and Booney saying, cats for life. And the rest of us are like, no, dude, it's dogs.
We're going to need a pet. I don't think we've ever had a pet thread on the.
Listen, I've never seen a pet cat at a racetrack. Let me put it that way. I see dogs at every racetrack I go to.
If you think that there's any chance in hell that when I do finally have an RV and I go to the racetrack with it, that there's not going to be at least one, if not both of my cats in that RV, you're crazy. I absolutely will bring my cat with. Every time I go somewhere, no matter what it is, going to my parents' house, going to my mother-in-law's house, whatever it is, the first thing I tell Katie when we walk out the door, I should have brought my cat. 5 minutes in, should have brought my cat. And I have threatened to put a litter box in my splice truck and take him to work with me. So
it's dedication.
Yeah. I know it's changed how we do our vacations because if we drive, it's like, yeah, dogs are coming.
How many dogs do you have?
I got 2.
2? Are they big or small?
One's big, one's small. I got a spaniel mix that's like 40 pounds and a pit bull mix that's like 80 pounds.
It's a big to-do anytime my wife and I go anywhere because we have 3 dogs, 2 huskies, and a golden retriever. And it's
3 now?
Yeah, I have 3 dogs, man.
I thought you had 1 husky and the retriever.
No, I've always had 2 huskies.
And
then we had a retriever pass away a couple years ago, and we adopted another from a rescue. So, yeah, it's a big to-do, man. And they're all getting old, so you got to, like, pick them up and put them in the truck.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Now, the worst part is that because the pit bull mix, it's actually mostly chow mix, but when you say pit bull mix, every dog boarding place goes, "Oh, it's a pit bull? Sorry, can't bring him here."
Yeah, get out of here.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
That dog is flat out terrified of its own shadow.
It's had the fight beat out of him long before we got him, and it is all flight all the time. The spaniel, he'll attack the mailman, but
I was going to say, if there's any dog they need to be afraid of, it's the one that they're like, yeah, sure, bring it on over.
No,
that's the one that's going to take a bite out of your hand.
The spaniel has sent people to the hospital. The pit bull has run away from a kitten.
Wow.
It's they're polar opposites in the direction you wouldn't expect.
See, my spaniel is my spaniel's more like your pit bull too, because my spaniel is absolutely terrified of its own shadow.
Yep.
So it's weird how radically different the same breed of dog or relatively same breed of dog can be.
Yeah. Or the
dogs have personality, unlike cats.
Yeah. That's not true. That's not true. Both my cats have radically different personalities. My Munchkin is more the stereotypical cat where he kind of is, like pretty okay just being left alone most of the time. Sometimes he might come and bother you a little bit, but my Russian Blue is an attention whore. He is the neediest animal you'll ever meet.
You haven't met my dogs, so...
Is your dog barking at your door right now?
No, but I can kind of hear him in the wall behind me.
That's fair.
Mine's asleep on the couch if it's not attacking the neighbor.
Yeah, mine's probably at its play date next door, my dog. So they do that every 2 or 3 times a day. Our neighbor would get tired of her dog and text Katie and be like, What's Lily doing? And Katie just opens the front door, and Lily runs outside and goes next door, and they have this little fenced-in area, and the 2 dogs just play with each other till they can't move anymore, and then Lily comes back home and naps for 3 hours.
That's a good neighbor.
That's nice. Great. That is really nice, actually.
It's so good, dude. When they're gone for the winter, it's the worst.
Oh, yeah, that'd be awful.
Should we talk about cars?
Why? We're talking about pets. It's far more important. People are here for our pet conversations.
New podcast topic.
Yep. It'd be way more.
I really assumed that
it'd
we
be
were going to
so
talk
much
construction since I have Austin on here. But
I don't want to talk about work right now. Can you see my face right now?
You look sunburned.
Yeah, it's been a long day. It's been a long week, actually.
It has been.
Gross hot already,
dude.
In Oklahoma.
I think the heat index for tomorrow is like 113 degrees.
Because I know you get a decent bit warmer than we do. But has it been well above 10 plus degrees above average there the last 2 or 3 weeks?
Yeah, actually, it has been. The only days that have been relatively tolerable were this past weekend at Hallett, which was super nice.
I thought it was hot and windy.
It's not that hot, or it wasn't not compared to what it is right now.
Yeah. I mean, it was
about 113, Robbie.
Yeah. 93 and windy isn't near as bad. It was manageable.
Yeah,
and the nights were pleasant.
Cloud cover and stuff too.
True.
Yeah. Right
it's
now
been a weird year.
Sunny. It hurts my face. But I
burn once and then I'm over it.
I burn super easy. So I'm long sleeves and a autocrosser brimmed hat. Anytime I go outside.
Yeah, we don't do that.
We got to get 10 Tenths podcast pins so you can put one on your hat.
There you go.
Are there 10 Tenths podcast hats in the store?
Yes.
All right, I'm buying one when we get done.
We need big floppy safari.
We should probably link that to our Track Change website.
Yeah, I need to figure out.
That's a good idea, actually.
Right now, if you go to the Facebook page, there's a Shop Now button, I think, right at the top, and that will take you right there.
Because Dalton has been giving me shit for at least a year that we don't have long sleeve T-shirts, and we've had long sleeve T-shirts in the store for at least a year. So,
has he not purchased one?
No, he made such
too busy buying stacker trailers.
He made such a big deal about it, and I went through and like added a couple different designs because we had them originally, and then took them away, and then added different ones, and he still hasn't bought one.
No, you need the like the fishing style ones that like Dusty and I wear around.
Yeah,
those would
the
be
big safari floppy.
Yeah, the bucket hats.
No, the long sleeve shirts too. Some of them have like hoods built into them.
Oh, we don't have that option, I don't think.
Oh,
I'll double check
for one of those.
All right, well, if we do, I'll add it. We haven't updated the store in a while. We could use some new logo. And
it does.
T-shirt
I just checked. If you go to Facebook and you go to the 1010s Podcast Facebook page, the page, not the group, the page, there's a Shop Now button right at the top.
There's a 1010s Podcast page?
There's a page. We don't do anything
really?
with it.
Yeah, I upload the YouTube videos there too, and they get no views.
Yeah. Facebook's one of those things you got to pay to get in front of people.
It gets in front of people, but obviously no one's scrolling through Facebook and going, "Yep, I'm going to watch an hour and a half podcast." So I mean, it might send somebody to the YouTube channel, but it definitely doesn't.
Yeah, we're too lazy to like cut up little bits.
Yeah, I'm definitely not doing that.
Oh, you don't want a clip show?
No, but
I think people would go nuts for a clip show.
We could certainly do it for like 30-second clips, highlights, and that would work great for advertising or like Instagram stuff. But it's like, we have real jobs that take up more time than I want to talk about, and that's where that time has to be spent. So
yes,
if this was a full-time gig, sure.
Yeah, we do it. We do whatever you want, man.
Yeah.
Well, if people would go to the Facebook and go to the shop and buy swag, then it could become a full-time thing.
There you go.
So exactly. You meet pimping y'all's store.
In our shirt even. That you bought on said store.
It's a good shirt. It's a good shirt.
Fits you great. Nice fitted. Looks good.
Tan lines.
Shows off the tan lines. Great.
Yep.
So
anyways,
let's
Adam.
Open this up.
Presented by Factor Fabrication.
So, Robbie can tell the story a little bit better than I can, but it turns out that Robbie is in the truck shopping market.
Yeah, do you want to tell me? We want me to do the story now, or do you want to do?
We can talk about your truck problem real quick, real briefly, and then we can roll into what I actually did not look for. The Drive just posted this week. It's not my fault.
Yeah, it's true. It's only been up for a day or so.
I didn't look for it. It was just well-timed. It's like they follow our lives and know what's going on. And
there has been some really weird ones where that we talk about something, then the next week there's a jalopnik or the Drive post that's painfully close to what we had just talked about.
It's not just Facebook. It's just the algorithm in general.
Yeah. Life, the world.
Yeah,
it's that good. So. But Robbie, tell us what's up with your truck.
Yeah, so if you remember last year, I was just driving around and then the oil pressures decided that they didn't want to be up anymore, and then it ended up dropping a lifter, and then I replaced the oil pump and the lifters, and that was a whole deal. And then it's been fine ever since. And then I drove it to, I don't know how many different weekends, 5, 6 different weekends after that with the trailer behind it. Drove it to Gingerman a couple weeks ago, and there was no issues. Oil pressures were strong. No issues there at all. Went about 3 hours into my trip to Hallett, which we'll get into the Hallett weekend later. Oil pressures were slowly dropping from 40 down to 35, down to 30, and just kind of watching it. The longer I go, the oil pressure just kept going down and down and down. I'm like, well, we're here again. And I mean... Yeah, I don't know. I was just driving, and I mean, trans temps were good. The water temps were good. I don't have oil temp on my truck, so I don't know exactly what it was at, but let's assume that it was hot as shit. You
got an oil cooler, don't you?
I got a trans oil cooler.
It was the trans. That's what it was. Okay.
I don't have an engine oil cooler, which could probably end up fixing a lot of my issues. But basically, the truck, my assumption was that the truck oil was just cashed out, that I should have changed it right after Gingerman, and that it had reached its boiling point, basically, and was just kind of turned to shit halfway through the trip. Like, all right, well, we'll baby this the rest of the way to Hallett, keep an eye on it. I stopped, verified the levels. It's like, okay, it's a little low. So I topped it off, like half a quart. I mean, it really wasn't low, but put it back on the stick where I like to see it. But I pulled the dipstick out, and you could see that it was like steaming, or like heat was coming out of there. I'm like, well, that's not a good sign. It's clearly hot in here.
Ooh.
Whoa.
That ain't what you like to see.
What's that burning smell?
I mean, it really didn't smell like burning oil, though. I mean, it didn't. It was just, you could just tell.
Clearly very hot.
It was very hot. So, finished the rest of the trip. Actually, I don't go to Hallett. I go to the Walmart in Cleveland before I go to Hallett. Get oil, get a filter. I was gonna get a drip pan, but I watched the guy looking for spark plugs use the only one there as a spittoon. And then when he picked up his spark plugs and left, all I had was this spit-filled drip pan. I'm like, well, somebody at the track has to have one. I'm not fucking buying this.
Sorry, Austin. I got to do it. Welcome to Oklahoma.
Oh, fuck you guys.
Yeah, that was
still better than Kansas.
That's true. That's true. But anyway, so I mean, I would come to a stop sign, and the oil pressures would drop to like 10 psi, which, according to the manual, a worn out engine is fine as long as it has 6 psi at idle, which to me is not acceptable. But apparently,
that's pretty low.
That's crazy. That's scary.
That's pretty low.
I don't want to feel.
It's no, because that's 6 is awfully close to 0, and as soon as it hits 0, shit breaks. Ask me how I know.
I don't know that you even need to go to 0 before stuff starts breaking.
True. But well, yeah, at 0, you know for sure something is metal on metal, and it's going to break.
Yeah.
So I watched it happen before. I was not about to have it happen again. So I get to the track, let it cool down, fire it back up a couple hours later. Pressures are good. Oil doesn't look too bad. I mean, it had lubricity between my fingers. I mean, it didn't smell too bad. It's like, all right, well, we'll change it while we're here. Change the oil. Again, nothing catastrophic in the oil when I poured it back into the container. Yeah, no issues there. Took it out for a drive, or not a drive, but like basically just let it run while I loaded up and stuff. Pressures were strong. Everything looked good. Took off on the way home. And after like 30 minutes into the drive, it just starts doing the same shit with brand new oil. I'm like, well, that answers that question on what I'm doing next week. Done with this truck.
Yeah.
So I called Jess and was like, hey, guess what my oil pressures are? She goes, oh, come on, really? You're 8 hours from home and this is how we're going to talk?
That sucks, man.
But basically said, yeah, how about we trade this in? Because it's clearly not meant for towing 8 hours with a car behind it.
It is an awfully long time to have a load without an oil cooler or anything like that. So.
Well, and it doesn't help that it's a 4-speed, so I'm in third gear at 3,000 RPMs for 8 hours straight. It's just not the way to be towing things.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a ticking time bomb at that point. Because, I mean, I got home. I made it home fine. It actually helped as the temperatures dropped throughout the night because I got home at like 1 a.m. Monday morning. And it was, as the temperatures get dropped, it got a little better. But, I mean, the pressures were just super low the whole trip. Fired up Monday morning, took it to work. No trailer behind it. Acted like nothing was wrong. The pressures are strong. They've been strong all week. It's been running. I mean, it's perfectly fine. It's just pulling a car with a trailer, even though it's not at its towing capacity max, like not that close. It's too much for that truck.
I think there's probably a difference in towing capacity, and it can tow so much, but it doesn't. It expects you to go to the lake, not
halfway across
the country.
Yep.
The rating is also on a new vehicle, and
this has 167,000 miles.
We love our LSs here, and we know that they can go for ever and ever and ever, but they do lose power over time. I mean, any engine does.
Yep.
I don't know, man. Any LS in any GM vehicle with the AFM after like 08, I don't trust it. Like,
I
don't.
I agree with that.
There's a broken one sitting in my driveway. So,
yeah. So I'm sure an oil cooler would go a long way, but I just feel like I'm using it in the capacity that it's not really intended to, and I feel like I'm going to end up being stranded in Bowling Green, Kentucky, or Hallett, Oklahoma. You know, I mean, it's going to be fine until I'm 8 hours from home, and then it's going to be a problem, and then I'm stuck. Yeah. So luckily, oh God, why am I blanking on his name right now? Oh, I'm such an asshole.
Chad.
Thank you. I was going to say Craig, and I knew I was wrong. He was at the track, parked just down the way from us, and I borrowed a drip pan from him, brought it back to it clean, because I'm that type of guy. And then, I appreciated that. That was really nice. So, yeah, I'm on the hunt for a truck, and hopefully by the time this airs, I have a new truck. I have a test drive Friday morning, and if that doesn't go as well as I plan, I have 3 others I will test drive later that day. And if none of those are good, or if I get lowballed so bad on my truck that I'm offended, I will still not have a new truck. But I don't think that's going to happen.
So with that in mind, the drive was just so nice as to post what used trucks you should absolutely avoid. So they have 10 trucks on the list.
Let's go through them.
Let's do this. First up, the Ford F-150 from the years 97 to 2004. Their specific reasoning for this is mostly because they have absolutely horrendous crash tests.
At this point, that crash test is probably a moot point because it's going to be so rusted out.
I mean, all those trucks are worn out by now.
Yeah, 04 is the newest. Nothing left of those things.
Yeah, that's very true.
You can get it for like $1,100. You're not pulling anything with it.
Yeah, let me tell you don't want a 4.6 or a 5.4 anyway.
No.
Because they're like the absolute worst. They don't make any power. I had one of these trucks, actually.
See, this is the other good thing about having Austin.
Poor crash test rating and me at 18 years old driving like an 18-year-old. So,
did you crash it?
I didn't, but man, I drove the wheels off of that truck.
You tried real hard.
I tried real hard to crash it. I didn't though. But the 5.4 did let me down in the end.
What's the ratio of high school boys with Ford pickups to high school boys with not Ford pickups in Oklahoma?
Ford, it's probably like 1 to 4. Ford to Chevy.
Okay.
Like everybody likes Chevy trucks.
But what you're saying is they all have pickups, though.
Yeah, everybody has pickups. Yeah. I had a couple of friends in high school who didn't have pickups, but for the most part, everybody had a pickup, including me.
Yeah, I didn't get a pickup until I was towing things.
We had a lot of cars in my high school.
The farm kids had pickups, and that was about it. We didn't do any like the jack-up trucks. I know in our school.
Even a lot of our farm kids just had like shitbox beater 4-door or 2-door cars. Like Cavaliers.
No, there's a lot of pickups for the farm kids.
You were a more
I didn't really I did, but I didn't
like rural farm adjacent school district than I was.
Oh, yeah. No. They're equally farm schools.
Nah, because I was in a much larger town.
3,000 people compared to 1,500 is not much larger.
Sheldon had 5,000 people in the elevator. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and like the main source of income is the elevator.
That's probably dude. Most of those people work at Rosenboom.
Man, you guys lived in the freaking sticks.
Where do you live?
He lives in Oklahoma City, dude.
Oh,
well, I grew up in Yukon, but it's like a town of 25,000 people. I should mention it is an agriculture town, so a lot of us also were like ag kids. I wasn't. I lived like 2 blocks from high school, but
oh no, we're farm kids by comparison.
Yeah. Up next, and this is a good thing we have Austin on here because he probably knows a bunch about some of this shit because he's kind of the truck guy, right? F-250s from 2006 through 2008 and 2011. Is there a reason?
Yeah, what's up with the 2011?
I think the years in this article are a little off. I read through it earlier, and there's some weird stuff.
I would agree.
So Actually, my old man was actually a field service engineer for Ford at this time through these years. I think it's the 6.2 and the 6-liter Power Stroke diesels. Like, avoid them like the plague, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like,
that's what I've heard.
Yeah.
I think this was the year that my old boss had, was like maybe an 06 dually. And he had that motor tore apart more often than he didn't. Just doing all kinds of crazy shit to it.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a gasser and it's got low miles, it's probably okay.
But he had a diesel.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy a 6-liter Power Stroke, and it's a 6.4. That's the twin turbo. I think it's from like 08 to 2012. That also people had a ton of issues with when they came out.
I didn't know there was a factory twin turbo diesel truck like that.
It had like a little turbo and a big turbo. So it like the little turbo fed the big turbo.
Oh, weird.
I don't know what that's called. That there's a name for that.
Compound.
Yeah.
Compound turbocharging setup. That's pretty cool though, from the factory. That's kind of because they did variable valve or variable vane stuff in some of those too.
They did that in the 6-liter Power Stroke diesel.
Because I think a friend of Robbie and I's, David, had a turbo and he put different variable vanes in it or something like that in his.
Diesel performance is I don't know anything about it. I just know that it's very expensive. So, you think racing's expensive? Get into diesel stuff.
Yeah,
no, I'm good.
Yeah, I can about imagine. So up next, a truck that I think does not deserve to be on this list.
No,
the SRT 10 Ram.
Well, first off, good luck finding one.
It was like fucking 1,500 of them or something like that.
And
I mean, that's probably not the real number, but
if you can find them, it's a niche-y thing. So I mean, it's not like you're getting this like, yeah, you know, it's a great daily, my SRT 10 Ram. No, of course not. This is like no one's shopping for this thinking this is going to be their next daily driver. Or their pickup or whatever.
No one's like cross shopping this with a 3/4 ton Silverado to like, pull a race car either.
No, they're not.
They're probably putting it on a trailer behind a 3/4 ton Silverado and towing it to a racetrack.
If this article complains about it getting like 9 miles to the gallon, I think anybody who's ever had like a 5.7 Hemi Dodge can tell you they barely get 11 or 12. So
yeah,
or an 8.1.
I would much rather have the V10.
Hell yeah, Viper V10 would be great, and Austin knows where there's spare parts just sitting in a garage for it. One of his old co-hosts has a Viper that has not ran in I think longer than the Omni has not ran, which is not good.
Whoa. I remember you talked about that he had that Viper. I didn't realize that it wasn't running.
I'm not going to talk about it. It's not my car.
Yeah,
but it's been a few years. I'll put it that way. I was talking to him about it the other day.
Has he moved on it? I really want him to get it running again. It would be such
he has other hobbies going on right now that are taking up all of his income.
That makes me sad because it was such a cool thing.
That'd have been
it's a pretty wild build if it ever got off the ground again.
That would have been perfect to be at Hallett last weekend.
I would like for him to go down that route because I feel like that's quite a bit less money.
He's taking that down the TX2K route.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Okay, I do remember that now a little bit.
Yeah. Which is cool.
It is absolutely. That's
very expensive.
That's big boy money just to get in the door.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. You show up in Houston with less than 1,500 horsepower, you're wasting your time.
Yep.
You've been there, haven't you?
I've been a few times. It's bananas.
It would be cool to go once or twice just to see the insanity that is. Yeah. So even if you just went to the daytime.
Yeah, I mean it's
legal stuff.
All TX2K is not about the illegal stuff. It's about the legal stuff. The illegal stuff
just kind of turned into that though.
Yeah.
Thanks to 1320 video and stuff like that. That's kind of become
that's what they're known for.
As much a part of that, whether they want it to be or not. So, Dodge Ram 1500 from 2000 to 2003.
There's not a lot of those on the road, so
yeah. This is this is what I was talking about like the years are weird.
Okay.
Because like there's 2 generations in these years right here. Like I own a 2000 Dodge Ram right now, and it's not the same generation as an 02 or an 03.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's 2. It's a crossover of 2 generations that are weird.
I wonder did they share an engine?
No, I think it's like a 94 to 01 Dodge Ram has like the old school 318 and 360 Magnum stuff in it. And then everything from 03 on has like the 4.7 or the 5.7, like the modern engines that they have, the Hemi stuff.
Yeah.
So
they're specifically talking in this one about the 4.7 Magnum V8 having oil sludge problems and engine and transmission failures.
I believe that because I don't see them on the road anymore.
How does an engine have an oil sludge problem?
Not an engineer.
I don't have an answer.
Isn't that like an owner problem?
Yeah, I don't think that's really an engine problem because I think it was a Dodge. I remember when I was in automotive school, they brought us up to for like some tour of one of the mechanics' place uptown, right off the interstate, and someone had got, I want to say it was a Ram, newer than this though, and then they were traveling sales guy or whatever, and he drove it for work, and he put like 150,000 miles on it in like a year and a half or something crazy, but he never changed the oil.
Ooh.
The whole time. Said he was too busy.
Ooh. Oh my God.
Ooh, too busy?
That one had a sludging problem because it locked it up.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but that's not the engine's
No,
fault.
it's not. No.
Actually, that 2000 that I have, I've put 2 motors in, but that's like the old school stuff too. I think it's like a 5.9.
I didn't realize you had a gas truck.
It's my old truck. I never got rid of it after I got the Duramax.
Okay.
So, but it also had a sludge issue, but it was from neglect from the previous owners. Same thing. I didn't have time to change the oil. Well, the oil is peanut butter now.
Yep.
So
that or Jello
nice.
in the top end.
I feel like that's not fair to the vehicle.
No.
So
yeah,
I don't know. That's an interesting thing to say, I guess. I don't know. 2000 to 2003 Toyota Tundras. Apparently, these are not known for reliability.
Yes, they are. They're Toyotas.
I've never heard anything bad about these trucks.
I really haven't. I mean, I've never really looked into them either, but I don't. Yeah. Aren't these the ones that go a shitload of miles? I mean, they're not known for their towing capabilities or anything like a truck is known for.
Well, it's a Toyota.
Yeah.
Like, you can't kill it.
No, it's a big,
so
it's a big Hilux.
110,000 units were recalled for rusting rear cross members, which is a real thing in Iowa.
Yeah, that's all the trucks.
Along with that, prone to HVAC and air pump failures. Okay, it's 20 years old.
They'll
Piston issues in the 5.7 liter V8, electrical gremlins, and prematurely fading paint.
Huh.
It's a used truck.
Yeah, I don't get that one.
They say the unkillable Tacoma of the same generation doesn't have nearly as many problems.
Well, this was also Toyota getting into full size trucks.
Yeah,
so I mean that you're going to have
there's going to be some
pains.
teething issues with their first gen of your big motor. I mean,
for sure,
it is what it is.
Yeah, it's like the 2012 Tundra, like when they went to the newest style. I mean that was a huge leap for Toyota. So I'm not to say that this was a shit truck, but I mean it wasn't competing with the Chevys and the Fords yet, but it wasn't anything wrong with it.
I try to base my assumptions off what I still see driving around, and I still see these driving around
everywhere.
And I don't see like 03, like early 3rd gen Rams driving around very often.
I see a lot of these the F-150 that was listed earlier, and I see a lot of that generation Silverado still.
Yep.
But yeah, the Ram not so much. That is getting to be less a thing for sure. So, next up, one I am fully prepared to argue is not a truck. Honda Ridgeline from 2006.
That's a minivan.
all Honda Ridgelines. Just avoid those.
Well, okay, so here's my it's probably the wrong definition, but here's what my definition of truck and SUV, both of these fall under that definition. Body on frame.
Yeah.
I would disagree with that.
Really?
Because I own a newer Jeep Grand Cherokee, and it is absolutely an SUV, even though it's a unibody.
I don't know, man. I think that's just a crossover at that point.
It's not a crossover.
It's just really tall.
It's just a big one. Just a really tall thing.
I can make it taller. There's a button that makes it go up.
Fancy.
And I rode in it, and it was great. It was quite comfy, and they're not known for their reliability with that diesel engine that you chose, but and I've heard some horror stories, I think from you, even if I remember right.
Yeah, they did just give me a bunch of money though, so there is that to be said about it.
Yeah. That comes with that territory though, not being so reliable.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, the Ridgeline itself, peeling paint, HVAC issues, rusting, electrical gremlins. I mean, okay.
Is this the first generation of that truck?
Yes. The number 4 cylinder on the 3.5 liter V6 would inevitably go bad, burn oil, and ultimately seize, necessitating a full engine swap. While Honda parts are often cheap, an entirely new 3.5 liter V6 and all the components that go with it isn't.
Yeah, it started in 06, so that's just kind of to be expected.
One. I bet you that they did something stupid with their coolant system, and they somehow alienated that cylinder. Like, so on my Omni, the coolant flows across the head from 1 to 4, right? But the thermostat is between cylinder 3 and 4. So the coolant in the cylinder 4 area kind of just hangs out there and doesn't circulate very well through the radiator. And chances are, if you're going to melt a piston in that motor, it's going to be number 4. And Robbie's VQ has a similar issue on the 350, that they did some sort of coolant reroute in the SUV that uses that engine.
The Xterra, you can use their
Xterra.
Yeah, you can use their coolant connectors and all that stuff and fix it. Yeah.
So I bet you that this is the same situation, and I wouldn't even be that shocked if someone makes a kit to fix it. Probably also happens on the van that shared that motor, and whatever else shared. I think that's the Accord motor there for a while. Even I'll bet you that's a solvable problem.
It's still not a truck, though.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
My S10's more a truck than that, and I'm not really going to go out on a limb and try to defend my S10 as being a truck.
It's a much better daily than a full-size truck, but no, it's not really doing anything besides hauling leaves.
I think an overwhelming majority of people who live in the city and think they need a truck would be perfectly served with the Ridgeline.
For sure. I won't disagree with that at all.
But that's just going to get Austin fired up. So
I don't see very many Honda Ridgelines, if I'm honest.
Oh my God, they're everywhere, dude.
There's quite it's a pretty common thing up here.
Everyone that thinks they need a truck has one of these to start.
In fact, my good friend Don has one, and he will defend it till the day he dies.
I'm not saying it's a bad car, but it's a bad truck.
I think for like the average homeowner, because I can't, I don't own a truck essentially, because it's broken down in my driveway, and it really sucks to not have like a bed to throw leaves in, and a bed to throw sticks in, a bed to throw things I bought from Lowe's to fix whatever's wrong with my house in, and stuff like that. And it's really nice to have a truck, but it's kind of, at the same time, I think it's silly for a lot of people to own like half-ton or three-quarter-ton pickups when S10 sized pickups would do them just fine. And the Ridgeline fills that niche and can still easily be used as a daily commuter, and can carry the kids and the dog and whatever. And, from that perspective, I think it totally makes sense. But like, if you want to use a truck for like what Robbie's trying to do,
it ain't gonna work for me.
Don't come at me with this. Well, my Ridgeline's got such and such a tow rating. Oh, fucking what? It's not gonna work.
Aren't those front wheel drive?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm good.
Dude, I had that conversation once, and I had to bite my tongue really bad because it was Jess and I went to this new church, and we were meeting the pastor, and he saw me roll up in my Avalanche, and he was driving a Ridgeline, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I got a truck almost like yours," and I had to be like, "Yeah, man,
absolutely."
It's got a kind of similar profile.
Yeah, it does.
That's where the comparisons end.
Yeah,
I was like, "Yeah, yep."
I think if you're not a car guy, that's an easy mistake to make.
Yeah, and he's definitely not a car guy because he was very confused by like all of my hobbies. Made no sense, like at all. Just didn't understand. Yeah, which is fine. Anyways, Honda Ridgeline. Thanks.
Nissan Frontier from 05 to 08.
That's a nice pickup. I mean, little pickup, but there's nothing wrong with those.
My little pickups, Robbie.
I would say avoid all Nissan Frontiers like the plague. I hate those.
Is there a specific reason?
I do want to know.
So, getting back to the Grand Cherokee was in the shop, so I had to rent a car for my wife to drive, and all Enterprise had was Nissan Frontiers. And those trucks have not changed from like 2003 until today.
It's true. It's true.
It is.
It's the same truck.
The inside of it reminds me of the early 2000s. This was a brand new truck. So this was like a 2019 or something like that, like 6 months ago.
Yep.
And it's just noisy and clunky, and they need to update that truck.
That's what Nissan does, man.
Same truck for 10, 20 years.
The 350Z, the GTR.
Let me take that back. I think it's fine for like an auto parts, like parts delivery truck or something like that. But I wouldn't daily one.
Small fleet vehicles.
But I'm also the creature comforts guy. So
yeah, he's turned into a real Sally since I met him. That Jeep really spoiled you.
Oh, it's so good, man.
Dude, I get it. I used to be all I would say like, oh man, I don't need any of that luxury crap. But it's really nice once you have it. Man,
you get adaptive cruise control and your life changes. Like
I'm still adapting to the heated seats, heated steering wheel part of my life. I haven't made it to the adaptive cruise control yet.
My Cavalier doesn't have cruise control, and I hate it. I hate it.
Mr. Anti-creature comfort?
That cruise control is a
that's worked its way into necessity.
When you do 50 mile. I still don't care about like heated seats and stuff like that. I still don't need that stuff, but air conditioning and cruise control are absolute necessities with my commute.
I say that I don't need all the extra stuff like the heated seats and the heated steering wheel and the heated mirrors and all that stuff. But in the list of like 15 trucks I have of ones I'm going to go look at, if I even go that far down the list, not one of them has cloth seats and no heated seats.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm spending the money, I better have all that shit.
Listen, man.
I've even had it, and I don't care.
In the frozen hellscape that is Iowa in the wintertime, I would imagine that heated seats and a heated steering wheel are an absolute necessity.
Driving to work for 15 miles. My backside
isn't that cold. It's not that big a problem, I guess. I don't know.
Waking up early in the morning. I'm cold. I'm always cold because I'm skinny. So I wake up cold, and I make my coffee, and I get in my car, and I start it up, and my butt gets warm from the heated seats, and I'm drinking my coffee, and it's literally the best part of my morning because I have a nice warm butt and a nice warm coffee. And then I get to work, and then it all comes crashing down. But driving to work... in my heated seats is great in the winter. I need it. For some reason, cooled seats though, they make me feel weird. Like I was with Dalton in his Camaro at Grid Life, and it probably was because I had been so hot all day. And then we hop in his car, head over to get some food, and he's got the AC on full blast, and then he's got his these cooled seats on. And I went from being like too hot to too cold too fast. I thought I was going to throw up.
Well, that's the thing.
So it probably had nothing to do with the fact that I had cooled seats. It was just the whole transition being all of 13 seconds. But yeah, I felt awful.
I like cooled seats so much. I bought like one of those cheap aftermarket like cooled seat pad things to put in my company truck, which is a base model, just to have that.
I think I would rather have cooled seats than heated seats.
Opposite. I'd rather have heated seats.
Because like my back's not cold when it's cold, but my back is hot and sweaty when it's hot, even if I have air conditioning.
I gotta have both. I need both. Like,
I don't need either, but if I had to pick one or the other, I'd probably take cooled over heated.
The only thing that doesn't need it is the Corvette, but I gotta have it in a daily.
Yeah, no, the race car doesn't need any of that crap.
I wish that my leather couch had cooled seats.
Yo, that'd be sick. Actually, I wish this chair I'm in right now had cooled seats. That'd be awesome.
That does sound nice.
So, on the Frontier.
Yeah, what the heck were we talking about?
It's actually kind of fucked, and I want to read it here for everybody. This says the Frontier's biggest issue is that the truck's radiator design is prone to failure and cracking, and when it cracks, the way the engine bay is designed, the radiator fluid finds its way into the transmission housing, corrupting the transmission fluid and seizing the entire unit.
Oh.
Jeez.
That's bad.
Which means not only are you going to need a new radiator and probably have a potential of overheating the engine, but you also need a new transmission.
Oof.
That sucks.
And that
sucks
crazy.
A lot.
That seems like a Nissan thing.
That's a really bad design.
That's quite a deal.
I'm sure it looked good on paper in perfect condition, but as soon as it fails, that's awful.
Yeah, how much money did they save per unit by putting that radiator in the truck?
13 cents.
Yeah, I wonder if it's one of those where there's a transmission cooler in it built into the radiator. And
yeah,
that's how they contaminate.
That's where it cracks. It cracks in where those lines meet.
And that's how they cross contaminate, I wonder.
Yeah, most likely.
It doesn't say specifically, but I know that's a thing.
Yeah, Chevys do that.
My Blazer has a trans cooler and a oil cooler built into the radiator too.
Yep. Avalanche too. Well, not the oil. But.
So, yeah. So, following up the Frontier with the Titan from 04 to 06.
Yeah, don't buy that.
So,
I almost bought that. Don't buy that. Josh bought. His might have been newer than that, but yeah, he said it was as close as a lemon he's ever gotten.
Oof.
So the rear axle seals leak.
Yep, Josh will confirm that.
Then you eat up differentials.
Uh-huh.
And then the entire rear axle will need replaced.
Didn't do that, but yeah.
Refurbished rear axles cost $1,500 to $2,500 and don't include the downtime and labor. So that's gross.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
so they built that truck for 12 years. 12 years.
It's the same.
But they only list 04 to 06 as being the years to stay away from.
That truck still looks exactly the same.
No, the newest one's different. 17 on is different-ish.
Yeah, he's right.
So
the bigger ones are more obvious.
This section of this article talks about how the second generation Titan interior resembles its predecessor and doesn't feel modern. And it's still like that. I was just at the auto show in like March before all the COVID stuff ruined our lives. And it's still the same. I think that's a Nissan thing because that's my complaint about the Frontier too.
Yep. Oh, yeah. No, you're right. I mean, the Z's haven't really changed much either. It's all the same.
So, up next, the Chevy Colorado from 04 to 2012.
Whatever. Wrong.
Here's a strange thing that a lot of people who don't like Colorados might not know. Those had a 5-cylinder available.
Yes, they did.
Yep.
And I think that might be the only thing they ever put that in.
I think it's in the Trailblazer also.
Did they put some of the 5 cylinders in the Trailblazer?
I think some of them.
I know there's a lot of
something
6 cylinders in the Trailblazer. I don't know if they ever put it. It's possible. I don't know, but
I think.
Yeah, I thought they put it in like something else.
4.3 or a 4.6 inline 6-cylinder that was in a lot of those. That apparently is kind of like the American 2J that nobody knows about. But anyway, the Colorado, I would kind of stay away from the 5-cylinder just because I can't imagine it's easy to get parts for. And it's probably not that good an engine, or they would have used it in other things,
Yep.
So, but they list out the issues being obviously premature rusting because it's a GM product.
Yeah, they all do that.
Faulty window seals because it's a GM product.
Yeah, they all do
Starter
that.
motor failures, misfires, HVAC failures, bad electrical systems, including a faulty check engine light. That's an interesting one. Bad child seat anchors, so that's good to know.
Ooh,
and a number of transmission problems because it probably had a 4L60 in it.
Yeah, all that's true.
So,
yeah, they put these 5 cylinders in a bunch of different vehicles.
Oh, really? I thought it was
yeah, they
just
put it in the H3.
Well, that's built on the Colorado.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
They
I think
even list that out in here.
Yeah.
So, apparently, they also had a recall that the brake lights would sometimes not illuminate when the pedal was pressed. This fault could lead to another car plowing into the rear of your Colorado.
It's fine.
Robbie and I had that happen to us in my TT once.
Yep, I remember that.
We got slammed into at a stoplight one night.
Yeah, you got lucky.
But I didn't have my foot on the brake, and he just pushed me forward.
Thank God for ice on that one.
Yeah.
Ow.
2000 to 2015 Chevy Silverados.
Bullcrap.
That's a huge range of Silverados.
That is too many Silverados, too many generations. That is malarkey. I'm calling it right now.
Somebody's got a thing against.
I'd say you could avoid a few of those. I'd say avoid the 4-speeds, but
avoid anything with a 4L60. That's just a life lesson.
Yeah, avoid that, and then also avoid the what? Oh, what's the hell the word I'm looking for? The what switches between
the AFM.
Thank you, the AFM, where it switches between 4 and 8 cylinders. Avoid that.
I'll concur with that. Avoid the AFM, but aside from that, I mean,
these are like the cheapest trucks to own,
and they're rock solid, man.
Yes.
So the older Silverados, they talk about rusted brake lines, which I think could probably be an issue on anything. But I do know somebody who has a rusted brake line on his Silverado, and it's happened to me on the Blazer, so I can get behind that one. I think
that's part of living in the frozen hellscape that is Iowa.
Yeah, if there's salt on the ground, I mean, that's going to make that way worse.
Power steering issues, weird clunking noises heard throughout the cabin.
I don't know about that one.
An oil slurping 5.3 liter V8 that goes through a quart every 1,000 miles. That seems like a very specific problem to an engine that this guy knew about.
Yeah, even using mine the way I have, I don't go through oil.
Maybe if it has 400,000 miles on it, but
or the one that this guy is stocking probably had experience with was poorly maintained in the past or something like that, and now it goes through oil. HVAC issues, paint imperfections, transmission failures, and faulty suspension components.
The transmission,
I would concur with transmission failures, but that's just a 4L60.
Yeah, just stay away from that. Anything that has that, just stay away from it. So that's their list.
Rebuild it when it goes bad. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Or just buy a reman one because they're like not actually that expensive.
Yeah.
There's so many of them out there. It's really not that big a deal. So, but yeah, that's the list. Those are the trucks to stay away from, Robbie. I think from the sounds of it, you already were. So you're well on your way to making a good decision.
I'm excited to find out what it is.
What, the truck I'm looking at?
I think it's going to be 6.2 powered, and I think it's going to be a Silverado, not a GMC product.
Right now, the list has been narrowed down to basically a 6.2 liter Silverado or Sierra. Yeah. Actually, Adam, I think my list goes Silverado, Sierra. So those are my first 4, and if I make it past those 4, then it gets a little bit more convoluted. But yeah, it's going to be a 6.2 or a 6.6.
LTZ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing else. It's either I'm going the 6.2 with the max trailering package, or I'm going to the Duramax. So
if you buy the diesel, are you going to buy a daily, or are you going to daily that? Because I know you've been kind of on the fence about whether or not you want to just drive if you get a bigger truck.
Getting another daily is probably not an option. I'd probably just have to drive the diesel and then drive the
short term.
What's that?
As somebody who dailies a diesel, it's not that bad.
I mean, I remember people talk about like, oh, you don't want to daily a truck, but I mean, dailying the Avalanche was fine. I mean, it's not like it gets great gas mileage, and I'm kind of living that life already, and it's worth the sacrifice to me because the convenience at it as a tool I use for everything else. So
you can plug in at home during the winter.
Yep.
And
well, I don't need to plug in. I have a heated garage.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, but like, it doesn't really seem to be that much of a problem anymore with modern.
No, I mean that Duramax is good for like 500,000 miles. So,
well, I mean like the not winter no start issues,
right? I mean,
it doesn't seem to be as big a problem. Like we have a ton of diesel trucks at work, and the ones that are less than 10 years old don't ever seem to have a problem, and the ones that are a little more than that or whatever, that's not an exact number, but the ones that are getting older, they have to be plugged in, and you can't shut them off during the day or you're screwed. But our new ones just fire right up. A lot of times we don't even plug them in. So
yeah. So we'll see. I don't expect to go the 2500 route, but we'll see how Friday goes. I'm definitely. I bet half my list is 2500s.
Yeah,
I will not accept anything less than 9,200 pounds of towing capacity. Nothing less.
Is there a specific reason you have that number, or
because
is that just like
that's the
size that a lot of that stuff falls?
The 6.2's lowest towing capacity is 9,200.
Oh.
So that's my bottom. If I buy anything, it has to be above that.
Have you looked at any non-GM related options?
Yeah, and I basically talked myself out of all of them.
Okay.
For whatever reason, But anyways, we'll see. Anyways, these truck rants have been brought to you by Factory Fabrication. Booney loves talking about trucks, and that's why he sponsors the Truck Podcast.
I know that guy.
Yeah, if you want to talk to Booney about trucks, hit him up. If you want to talk to him about fabricating some rad shit, head over to factoryfabrication.com or swing by the shop. Oh, I got something perfect for you guys.
Oh?
It's a perfect segue. And I think everyone will appreciate it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Is that the thing they play at Hallett in the morning?
Yeah, they do, and it goes on way too long.
It goes on almost all of 3 minutes. That's 7 a.m. Hallett wake-up call is that. Oh, it's called the chicken song, but I don't know what it's actually called. Hold on. I had it up.
Oh, that's terrible.
Did you record that, or did you find it?
You gotta send that to me. You can thank Dusty Nixon. If you go to YouTube, you can search Henhouse 5 plus 2 in the mood. It is 2 minutes and 48 or 45 seconds of that song, and that is what they play every morning at Hallett at 7 a.m. as the wake-up call. And I had completely forgotten about it. And we're getting stuff ready Saturday morning, and all of a sudden it starts clucking. I'm like, oh, yeah. Good morning.
It's the best.
Were you aware of that before you had been there?
I had no idea.
Oh, that's good stuff.
I vaguely remember you having talked about it in the past, but
I completely blanked on it.
That's funny. Did you get your shower under the stars?
I absolutely got my shower under the stars.
Did you partake, Austin?
I rented a camper, and that camper had a shower in it.
Yeah, you did.
Boo.
Yeah, you did.
You missed out, man. There were people waiting in line to shower under the stars.
Austin's the one who has introduced me to Outdoorsly. And,
it's Outdoorsly, yeah.
And so there's a real chance I'm going to do the same thing at Alpine. Actually, we talked to Robbie about that. So
I told him to do the same thing at Hallett this past weekend. It's
I'd attend.
It's the way to go.
Yeah. So, but anyway, let's talk Hallett. So you guys both went to this weekend's TT event. Robbie obviously been there, but Austin, this is your first track day ever, right?
Yeah, I decided that my first time on track ever should be a timed competition instead of educational event. So
I had done the same, so it's fine.
It's good.
Yeah, kind of had to stick my neck out on that one.
Hey, I appreciate that.
Because you need to have like a lot of experience, more than just any autocrossing to be in. But we trusted you. We figured you'd be all right. Plus, there wasn't a million people here for time trials, so.
I understand the hesitation for letting people out there who haven't been, like, as the general average public. But
yep.
I also think that people, like, if you're not an idiot and you, for the most part, can manage to get through day-to-day traffic without dying or killing people, that, like, you can probably do it on a track too.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I think a lot of that depends on the car. I'm very grateful that Robbie stuck his neck out for me and let me go. But if you just put anybody behind the wheel of a Corvette is probably not the car. If it's like a Civic, it's like, yeah, cool, no problem. But I lucked out.
Yes, some random kid shows up with his dad's Corvette. You're going to be like, maybe it's best if you have a little bit more experience. So because even TT, you're supposed to, or time trials nationally, you're supposed to get your SCCA time trials license, and then MIDIV requires it a slight, like they want to have. If it's not a license from the SCCA, you should at least be able to prove that you've done some competitive track driving. So we don't have, because HPDA, they'll do point buys in certain areas for passing, or even Time Trials National Tour, they'll do point buys on the straights only, or like for novice and intermediate, and then advanced, they might do it a little bit more open. Whereas MIDIV TT is open passing with a point buy, so you could do it anywhere on track. So if you catch somebody and they're comfortable with letting you buy, they can just let you buy on a corner if they really want. Otherwise, it's kind of wait until you're ready. But so it's, in my eyes, a little bit requires a little bit more track skill or awareness at least.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think that's the big thing is awareness.
So track etiquette is a big thing that we push, that I push quite dramatically, and even Dusty made a comment too. He's like, actually, this is probably one of the best track etiquette groups he's ever ran with. And
that's saying something, because
I took that as
he's been around.
I took that as a huge compliment. But and I'll let Austin kind of speak to it, because obviously I'm biased, and I think that we do a really good job of it, especially that group that was there this weekend. But I think, there was, when it came to that type of stuff, track etiquette, we had no issues at all the whole weekend. Yeah,
no, I mean, everybody that I was on track with, especially for being my first time on track, I felt very comfortable the whole time. I wasn't worried about anybody else. I had the ability to just worry about myself and run my laps while also paying attention to what was going on. So, I mean, I had a lot of fun. I'm very grateful again for being able to be there. All the guys, very welcoming. I had sent Robbie a message on Facebook like a week and a half before too, like, hey man, like, what's the etiquette? Like, what are the rules here? How can I not be a moving chicane for these guys? So, but it was my first time on track. I just made sure to do a lot of research on the track beforehand, and I have spent a bunch of time on simulators, which is not the same thing.
What sim did you use?
I used R Factor, and
that's
the R Factor Hallett, and it's not.
It's okay.
Yeah,
it's not great.
It's okay, but it's not great. But I don't feel like any simulator can really prepare you for that.
No, and like even just like the bumps coming out of turn 1 or turn 10 going, and then the bumps going into turn 1. You're not going to notice that in a sim. The elevation changes, you're not going to get that figured out in the sim. It's just because there's a lot of elevation change on that track. Not in like a bad way. It's a very fun track, but there's quite a bit of elevation change. So you're not going to get that feeling in R Factor at all.
Yeah, no. Like I said, it helped, but it didn't prepare me adequately for that. So first practice session, I, kind of took it easy. Like you said, go like 6/7 just kind of figure out what you're doing. Stay at everybody's way.
Yeah, I'll jump in real quick. In the driver's meeting, I made an effort to say like, hey, we have at least like 5 or 6 of the guys here that have not ever been on this track, haven't ran with us. Let's make a conscious effort to let them figure out the track. So like if you've been here a bunch of times and you know the track really well, let's get comfortable, but don't feel like you have to try to set a fast lap time in practice. Give everyone a chance to actually learn the track, and everyone took it to heart. And they did a really good job of not being in anyone else's way. It was great.
It's cool to hear that like guys who have been on track so much will say such good things about. I mean, I know I'm doubling back a little bit, but
no, you're fine.
Yeah, I think it really speaks to what Robbie's kind of tried to create and whatnot. So.
Yeah, no, I think that he's doing a fantastic job, and that's
you can thank or blame Adam Jabay for that, because I'm trying to mimic what he's doing.
Well, I met Adam at Alpine last year, and he seems like the chillest guy in the world. So
he is.
I think that there's definitely a middle ground there to be had, but I think Adam also does a great job. I never hear any GLTC guys complain. So.
No, we
sometimes
actually
I tell him he's too nice.
Yeah,
he can be, yes,
but yeah.
But no, I mean it was like I said, it's a lot of fun. My advice to anybody who's jumping into it is just do your homework, but don't do what I did and overthink the whole thing.
Well, it's super easy to do.
And then while you're there, just have fun. Dalton told me that Saturday night too. Like, hey. Like, you're here to have fun too, so don't take your first time too serious.
Yeah, one thing that worked out really well was that the time trialers, except for like a handful of them, all ended up camping exactly in the same group. So we'd all go out together, do our sessions, and then come back, and then we just all be hanging out. So then, like when track goes cold, the group of like 15 of us are just hanging out in the camping area, are by our cars and stuff. Everyone's just hanging out, drinking or whatever until like 11, 12 o'clock at night, just hanging out. And I don't know if it was you or someone else made a comment, and they're like, "Why isn't everyone else doing this?" And it's like, "Oh, that's because the club racers all hate each other. Time trialers are having fun."
Yeah,
and I mean, that's what it was. Absolutely what it was.
That's so sad.
Like it was. You had the group of time trialers all in our area, and there was the guy with his GLTC Miata that was there. I mean, he had his underglow lights on at night. I mean, we're all just hanging out, having a good time. And he was just getting comfortable in his car, getting laps in, because it sounded like he was. I don't have a picture of his car either. It sounds like he's fairly green when it comes to like wheel to wheel stuff and getting into GLTC. So he was just like, he wanted to get track time and seat time and get comfortable with his car, and he was driving really well. For being a pretty, it's going to be air quotes slow Miata. But he was quick. He was real quick. So it'd be cool to see what he does with that car and what he does in GLTC. So yeah, we went and all were camped together, and it went really well because we could just hang out and enjoy it. And yeah, let's say 9, 10 o'clock, I went to go do my shower Saturday night, and I'm walking through the pits or the camping area of all the club racers, and it's everyone's in their own camper with the doors shut, except for a couple people, and it's dead, quiet everywhere. Just go in, take my shower, come back, and there was like one person waiting to shower because he didn't want to take the stall next to me, even though it's 2 separate stalls, but whatever. And then you come back and it's all the time trialers like drinking in a group, having fun, partying, treating it like it's a grid life. I mean, it was a very different scenario. As soon as you walked away from the time trials group and into the club racer group, it was the guys having, fun and camaraderie with a bunch of people. And then you go to the club racer groups and it's just like, I'm not saying like they're all like this, but it just seemed like as soon as you go over there, it was like, we're here for competition. We're not here for friendship.
That sucks.
Does suck.
And maybe it's not that bad from the inner circles of those groups, but from the outside, it sure looks that way.
Yeah, I didn't really get outside of my own campsite too much, which is my own fault, and I apologize to the rest of you guys.
No, I mean, you're doing your own thing. You gotta,
like I said, I was too busy doing stuff like making track notes and being in my own head and overanalyzing everything, as Dusty put it. So,
but yeah, I mean, taking track notes on your first track event, that's unheard of. Which is, but it's good. It's good. I would call that
Kanga Motorsports for the track notes article, and thanks Speed Secrets for having a track map of Hallett.
Literally,
he's got a huge track map directory.
Yeah, he does.
Like if you are looking for track map for any track, there's a real chance that Ross has it on his website.
Yep, so. Speedsecrets.com. Yep. So I did the same thing. Like I print out of James's article. Like I just hit the bullet points part and kept a copy of that, and then a copy of what an example of his track notes are. And then after every session, I took track notes on what I did, things I noticed, and it was I wrote out my track notes, and then I went back and looked at like the pointers from James and was like, you know what? I didn't pay attention to my brake release at all. Maybe I should pay attention to where I'm releasing my brakes, and just things like that. Whereas, man, the things I'm not paying attention to are things that like I'm doing things and not comprehending them 20 minutes later when I'm trying to like, okay, how did I handle that? What did I do here? Basically, it was like 3 sheets of notes. Or I guess it would be 5 sheets of notes total of basically saying, you brake too early here. You should brake here and trail brake.
Yeah. And that stuff, like, I did that the first practice session, and it wasn't helpful. Like, I looked at those notes after, and I was like, throw these away, and I reread the article. Yeah. And I was like, all right, cool. And I started making good track notes. And, I mean, that helped me over the weekend go from a 141 to like a 129.8.
That's huge. That's a giant jump. So that's cool that you're able to whittle that down in there. So
yeah, no, it was super helpful, and that's another piece of advice that I would recommend is actually do that and do it after you get off track. Don't do it 30 minutes later.
No, do it like get back, get your bottle of water, get yourself situated, grab your track notes, sit down before you really go and do anything. Write it down. I mean, you can always come back and like critique it, but yeah, write down your thoughts as it's happening. Don't let anything come in and cloud it. Don't go have a conversation with your buddy next to you and say, hey, how did your session go? Because as soon as you do that, everything that you just had that's fresh in your mind is now clouded.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. I'm pretty good at being antisocial right after I get off track anyway, so that's what I do. I just grab my notes, sat down on my trailer, just kind of sketched out what I was thinking, where I was braking, things I was noticing on track, like landmarks, like just notes as saying like braking at 3, releasing at 2, coasting till apex, just stuff like that, right? Like braking at a pressure of like 3 out of 5, and I know that I'm braking too soft too early and coasting into the apex, and I make a note of that, like, well, how about I do brake at 2 at a 4 out of 5 or a 5 out of 5, let off until the apex, actually trail brake, just stuff like that. Whereas, making notes is the bump on 1 is really throwing you off.
Yeah. I've got some of that as like the bump coming out of the bottom of 8, or at the bottom of 9, there's a bump right there, and don't brake until after that bump is like, that was super helpful. So yeah, don't just make notes that are like, brake at 3. Like, that's not.
No, because you don't know what you're referencing as to how hard you're braking, or no, like I never would have thought of that without reading those articles from like James or from Ross. So this is the first time I've ever really done track notes. So that's you doing it your first event's a really good habit to get into. Whereas I'm a year behind schedule on that, but or almost 2 years behind schedule. But hey, I'm catching up. I wasn't there to compete against anybody else, just kind of self-improvement. And it was when I got out of the car and my dad told me I ran a 29.8, like, man, I screamed at the top of my lungs. Like, I was just ecstatic about it. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely take track notes, and those resources are free. So there's no excuse not to. Yeah. If you don't know about KangaMotorsports.com by now, and you're listening to episode 220, get with the program. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Actually, I listened to James's episode of Speed Secrets on the way down to Hallett when I wasn't stressing out about the truck. I listened to that first. Yep. So it was perfect. I listened to that, and then the truck went to shit, and that was a whole other thing. But I was able to listen to James's episode, and the way he and Ross go back and forth, just the way they look at like the way like the track notes and the coaching and like the way they go about all this in an analytical way, and it's a great way to like for someone like me to listen to it and go, how about I try that, or make me aware of the tendencies and the habits I have. So I was very, very impressed with his episode with Ross, and like I've listened to every one of Ross's Speed Secrets episodes, and only a handful of them I walked away going, yeah, I need to listen to that one again.
Yeah. So no, I also listened to that podcast on the way, but that was like my whole commute to the track because I live much closer to it than you do.
That's so not fair. You probably live closer to that track than we do to our quote closest one.
It's an hour and a half from the driveway, so
man, that's so close.
It's not too bad.
It's probably every bit of 2 hours for Robbie to Mayhem,
at least,
or RPM, I guess.
Yep.
I don't count Newton, Iowa Speedway.
We don't get to run there anyways.
Yeah. So Austin, you said your dad was there. What did he think? Was that like the coolest thing he's ever seen you do? Like,
yes. So, growing up, my dad raced motocross, and that was kind of like bikes are his thing. Right. But, the number on my car, the 377, is like a father-son thing too, because that was his number in motocross. And
that's cool.
We've been texting back and forth the whole time. Like, all right, like, we got to make a race program. Like, we wrote down like all the suspension settings on the car from this past weekend, because he owns a repair shop and it has an alignment rack and all that stuff. So he'll do all the chassis tuning on the car. Like, I think we're all in for next year.
Yes.
So,
that makes me so happy. Welcome.
Yeah.
One of us.
The thing that's really hard about this for me is, I thought that I was a Michael Beck when I bought that car, because he was looking at the 996s at the same time I was looking at the C5Zs, and I bought the prettiest car that I could find.
Yours is kind of like a special edition.
It's really
nice. It's a C5 Corvette Z06 commemorative, Le Mans commemorative car. So those cars, there's only 2,025 of them. They have carbon fiber hoods and special shocks and stuff. All that's out the window.
It's great for the track.
Yeah, it's all that's out the window at this point. When Dalton got down there, he's like, "Damn, I should have brought you all my old parts off my car." Like, I was looking at rear bumpers just to like have a rear bumper to put the 9 Lives wing on the car right before we started recording. So I've got one in my cart right now.
Oh. You've talked in the past about maybe selling that one and buying a rattier one that you don't feel so bad about. Is that out the window now?
Like 2 weeks ago, I had a guy, he was coming to buy the car. Like, the car's been listed for sale since January.
Okay.
Just as like hey, let me see if I can get out of this car for, what I deem it to be worth. And it's a little bit higher. Yeah, it was a little bit higher than everybody else. So it was just one of those things where, like, I don't have to sell it. I don't really want to. But if somebody does, I'm not going to tell them no. And so I was talking to this guy on the phone, and he was asking me if I'd come down on the price at all. And dude, no way. Like, I have RE71Rs in the shopping cart for an event. If we get off the phone and you say you're not buying this car, I'm hitting buy now on those tires. So yeah, that kind of fell through, and now that car's not going anywhere. It's like I said, it's a little bit too pretty to do this to, but I don't care.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I'm so proud of you.
I'm so
proud of you right now. So you thought you were a Michael, and it turns out you're a Robbie.
Yeah, as it turns out, I'm a Robbie. So
another life ruined.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it all started at a grid life.
It did.
It absolutely did.
Adam Jabay ruined my life and yours.
Adam Jabay ruined my life last July. Like, Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm so proud and so happy.
So yeah, I'm going to try to run with you guys all next year. We'll see how that works out because I've got a kid on the way too. So
kids love race cars. Love them.
Dude, there's nothing in the world my kid loves more than race cars.
And can I give like a shout out really fast?
Of course. It's your show. Do whatever you want.
Well, I need to say thank you to my wife for like being very supportive of all of this. Like she told me right after that too, like you can go racing every weekend until the kid comes. Like she's very supportive of all of it. So big shout out to her. Thanks very much for letting me be irresponsible.
That's good. That's awesome that she's supportive because like when I started doing this more seriously, and then Jess and I were getting serious with getting married and whatnot, kind of serious. I was like, well, you can come with me to these things. Well, she's like, I really like camping. Oh, perfect, because this is a camping trip for you, and this is a racing trip for me, and everybody wins. And that's worked. But now she's with her new career, she's working more weekends than not, but. Yeah, she's in, so that helps a lot when they support something that's a great way to just burn money.
Turn money into smoking noise.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I won't throw out a dollar amount. I mean, this is
please don't.
This is not as
we don't talk about it.
This is not as cheap as like an autocross is, but it's actually pretty affordable as well.
If you're not bringing two cars, it's really not bad.
Yeah.
Dalton. We tried talking him out of that so much, and he was just like, "Nah, it'll be fine. Like it just means I get more track time." I'm like,
he was. I mean, as soon as one thing goes wrong, though, man, you're scrambling to fix two cars. You all of a sudden you got a session right after another session. Luckily, that wasn't the case this weekend, but yeah, it could have been like, "Hey, by the way, man, you're gonna have to be on track here in 20 minutes." Yeah. So anyone that's not aware, man. Dalton bought that gigantic stacker and was like, you know what, I can fit 3 cars in here, so I better bring 3 cars. so he brought his friend Chad,
Chad, yes.
Yeah, Chad's Camaro, Dalton's Corvette, and then Dalton's Camaro. So Dalton ran his Camaro in production C and then his Corvette in production E. Luckily, they're in 2 different separate groups so that he was able to run it all. Basically, Dalton ran in every session.
And he won both classes, didn't he?
Did.
Yeah, handily won production E because his car is very, very well prepared. And then run production C because that Camaro is very capable. And he's a pretty fucking fast driver. Don't tell him I said that.
Well, he listens to the show.
I know.
So.
Yeah, he's quick in a car, man.
He was talking on his own Facebook like, oh, man, I'm slow. Like, no, dude.
Compared to who?
Yeah, he was comparing himself against some of those club racer cars that, like, there was one that was like a C6Z.
Yeah, he was trying to put down the same time as that Viper that was winning T1 or whatever class it was in.
That's got to be some crazy formerly factory backed race car too.
That car was no joke, and it was
T1's a very serious class.
Yeah,
he was winning those races by like
laps,
3/4 of a lap.
Yep.
Like, I mean, it was a lot.
Yep, he was running away from the other cars.
He had lapped back up to like 4th place or something like that
in a 35-minute race.
If I remember correctly.
Yep. That's crazy.
Yeah, he was quick.
That is crazy.
And Dalton was trying to catch his time and was getting close.
Dalton's a good driver.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, we give him a lot of shit, but yeah, I can't believe you ran 2 cars this weekend. That's hilarious to me. That's just it's so much going on, you know.
I was sitting at the gate waiting for them to let us in because we didn't go to the test day. And I just like look back and there's this giant trailer going down the road.
He almost I think he may have even broke the 10 mile per gallon mark, which
was really shocking.
It sounds terrible, but that's not that bad.
We were expecting 4 or 5.
Yeah.
He at least doubled that.
Because that truck is not made for towing that trailer.
It did he says it stops better than it did with the smaller trailer.
That's probably
quick aside.
Yeah.
Would you get fuel economy wise, Robbie? Like on the way down?
I guess my average is 15.
All right, that's not bad. I was going to say I got like 16 and a half pulling mine in my old Duramax, so
yeah, no,
maybe talk you into a diesel a little bit.
No, the 5.3 doesn't care. It's 15 miles per gallon whether it has a trailer or not. It just gets really, really, really hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like at best it's like 17 or 18 miles per gallon with nothing in the car or truck, or if it's totally loaded down, it's like 15 average. That's weird. But yeah, Dalton's 2500 was not meant for pulling that vehicle. Or trailer.
King Ranch, man, it's fine.
Yeah,
I thought that thing was at least a non-dually 1 ton, but yeah, it's like
no, it is not. But yeah, he's shopping for trucks too.
Oh, I bet there's been at least a dozen trucks that have been sent to him today.
Oh, I didn't send any today, but
in one of the group chats that I'm in with him.
I sent him some. He wasn't having it though.
We've been trying to talk him into a Kodiak.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Or a toter.
Yeah, he needs one.
I think he just needs like a regular pickup and a toter home.
He does.
That's what he needs.
Tell him to do an event at Coda next year and drive by and pick me and my car up too. Give me a spot in the trailer.
He'll do it.
We were supposed to do an event at Coda with the Champ car, and he was going to be one of the drivers. But then they were so wishy-washy on whether or not they were going to run it. And, they were like, the week of, we're going to announce. And Josh just like,
too late, man.
I can't like spend all this money and then have them cancel it, or like wait up until the last minute and then be like, yep, we're running this. So all the drivers and the team, they just agreed that it wasn't going to be a thing this year for us. So.
It's a weird year, man.
It sucks so much.
Wasn't this
drag?
Wasn't this event at Hallett just kind of like a later in the schedule thing?
We had no Hallett's event scheduled this year, and then basically everything got canceled. Then Hallett added this majors race. It was supposed to be in April, so they pushed it back till June, and then they were like, "Hey, we can put a TT in there." Yeah, we want that. We always want a TT at Hallett.
Wasn't this a majors weekend?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they had 130 club racers.
Yeah, that explains the club racer count.
Yep, it was huge. But it was a lot of good
That's
racing.
That's got to be fun, though, too.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Give you something to do between your sessions.
Yeah.
Spec Miata races were awesome. So,
were they?
Yeah.
Well, even the Formula cars were exciting to watch because 2 of them ended up in the wall, which is like really crazy.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, two of the fast Formula cars, I don't know what classes they were both in the tire wall at different parts of the track in the same session. Like they were pushing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it was really, really wild racing all weekend. It was really fun to watch. Then there was like a 40 car spec racer Ford class. It felt like, I don't know how many cars there actually were, but there was a lot.
It was a lot.
That's what Dalton said, and so we were like, "Well, what's a spec racer Ford cost?" And it turns out they're not as cheap as we thought they were.
No.
I googled that.
You like buy a brand new one, I think is what Josh was looking at, which is
it's a little more expensive.
You don't need to start there, but yeah. So I think that's probably, if I had to guess, I would say that wheel to wheel is probably Austin's long-term hopes and dreams, because I know that he is a huge racing fan.
Not in this car.
Well, obviously not in that car.
I've had a Miata before too, and like spec Miata looks like a lot of fun, and those cars aren't too bad. Like buying one that's already built. So
yeah, that's
maybe
buy one that's built. Don't build your own.
Years down the line, like it was my first track event, so let's go one step at a time.
The next step is to buy a full race car.
Hey man. My first track day was a national tour, and I ran unlimited. So
yeah, it's a slippery slope, man.
Well, if I'm going to stay in the class or in the group that I'm in, like me and Chad's green Camaro, and I think that M2 were like the only road cars. Everything else was like a caged race car. So I got to get to that point, and then we'll talk about.
So like, let's look forward a year. You're hoping.
Not a cage.
Well, yeah, I get that, but like, is there a certain class you're targeting based on what you saw this weekend, or
I don't know.
Have you read through a rule book or anything like that?
I've read the mid-div rules like probably a dozen times now. I need to play with the classing calculator a little bit to see where it's going to put me if I start going down the road I want to be.
You're
Ideally,
in C
I'd like
right now.
I'm in D, so I'm in the same class that Robbie's in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I don't know what the modifiers would do to me if I started going down the road.
You have a lot of free modifiers or really small modifiers that you could do and stay well within that class.
Yep.
So yeah,
I want aero and slicks. So
slicks would probably bump you based on your horsepower, but yeah, you'd have to put the calculator.
You'd have to chase Dalton.
You could get some. Yeah. You could get some sticky 200s or even probably 100 treadwear tires, and you could throw some really awesome brakes on there without having to really do anything to your classing, and that would do a lot.
Yeah.
Then even with aero, you could do quite a bit with aero and not really get penalized.
Oh, sweet. All right, cool.
Yeah.
9 lives on the line.
No, that 9 lives probably shouldn't do anything to bump you into another class.
Yeah.
In all reality,
cool, man.
In all reality, if it gets to that point where people are putting some ridiculous aero and they're not getting like hardly any modifiers for it, we might have to readdress.
Might change the rules.
We might have to address how we structure it, because right now you could do full air dam splitter 9 lives wing and get like a 0.1 modifier. So I mean it's pretty open ended. So yeah, if you want to go hog wild, go for it. It's not going to penalize you when it comes to aero, and I think that's going to.
All right.
Once somebody really taps into the potential of what the aero that their car can have and be quick, all of a sudden you're going to have a car that's way developed and destroying everybody else. We don't have anybody, so it's not a problem yet. But I'm betting if this continues to grow, it would be. So we might have to address how we interpret those modifiers in the future, but.
Every time I see a picture of Adam Picetto's S2000, I giggle.
It has the biggest end plates I've ever seen.
Those end plates are so hilarious looking on that wing. Because I've seen big end plates, but they usually are on like triple elements.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can get it.
You could turn these things sideways and eat on them.
Yeah, they're
huge.
They're
huge. Makes me laugh every time I see them.
Because he shows up and pulls out. And we're like, why are they so big? He goes, there's no rules on how big the end plates can be. And someone goes, we should. And I don't know who said it, but someone's like, maybe we have to address it. I was like, actually, I'm pretty sure you get to a point of diminishing returns. I'm not really going to worry about the end plates. I'm more worried about.
Yeah, I don't think.
I'm more worried about allowing the crazy wings, splitters, air dams, and having like really hardly cost you any modifier. That's the part we need to button up, not necessarily limit the size of your end plates. But yeah, he's got a buddy that
I'm sure end plates do make a difference, but like I'm sure at some point it really starts to take a turn in how effective it's really being when you like his have got to be.
It's got to be at that point where it might be at the point of diminishing returns. But yeah, they're huge.
It makes me laugh every time I see it.
Like 2 square feet? No, 4 square feet probably, because it's 2 feet by 2 feet. I'd bet they're big. They're really big.
Yeah, they're big. I think they're probably like 2 feet by 2.5 feet or something like that.
Yeah, with a little bit of cutout. So yeah, they're pretty big, and he's got a buddy that cuts carbon fiber, so he's just got a sheet and cut them.
Those are carbon even?
Yeah, they're carbon. That's what. And
is that on a 9 lives wing?
No, I don't think so.
Okay,
no. It's something else.
That's hilarious, though.
It's faster than me. That's all I know. So
he struggled with that car. It's quick, but it's not as quick as I was expecting it to be, honestly.
Yeah,
because you know what? Yeah, exactly. We talked about it on the show.
He was like sandbagging just to
there's only
lull you into a false sense of security.
Well, there's only 3 events this year, so I really hope he wouldn't do that.
That's fair.
Anything that you want to bring up, Austin?
One last thing. If you're hesitant to do this and you have a road car or something like that, Hagerty has track day insurance that covers time trials, and it's not expensive.
It's not that expensive. It really isn't.
That really gave me the confidence to really send it this weekend too, because it was just like, if I ruin the car, it'll be okay. It's not the end of my life.
Yeah, for sure.
So
that's awesome. Yeah, I'd looked into it, but kind of talk myself out of it. But at the same time, I don't have a road car.
Yeah, I mean, this is. I don't want to call it like the poster car of my childhood, but like I do care about this car a lot. So
right.
I didn't want to ride it off on my first time on track. So,
and you picked a pretty good track for like being able to go off track and make mistakes and
risk versus reward.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's not like going to Gateway or Iowa Speedway on your first event and saying I'm going to send it. I would definitely talk you out of that. But like an RPM or a Hallett or a Gingerman. I don't know about Autobahn, but like, stuff like that where it's pretty forgiving if you make a mistake.
Autobahn has a corner called $1 Million Corner, and I don't think it earned that nickname by accident.
Then I'm thinking of a different track.
Yeah, I mean, the corners there ran in pretty deep. Like you had a lot of extra braking zone, which saved my ass a couple of times, but I didn't have any offs. I saw that Robbie did.
Show off. I think you're so much better than me.
Robbie's really pissed at Dalton for posting those pictures right now too.
No, I mean, who doesn't go off track? I mean, it happens all the time. What's funny that Dalton posted that is like he fucking went off track and got black flag too.
Yeah, it's okay. My off has been the cover picture for our group for over a year now.
Yeah.
So
if you didn't go off, you weren't pushing it hard enough. How about that?
Well,
you gotta know.
I wasn't pushing it hard enough.
There you go. No, if you don't get black flag, then what are we doing here?
I would say on your first track day, you probably shouldn't go off.
No,
but I did. So
it's fine.
Whoops.
No, actually, we'll get into it. But I think part of the reason that I went off was that on that session, my brake fluid was cooked. So I was just that 2 laps before. I was like, man, this kind of everything feels weird. Like it just doesn't feel right. And then I went off there, and then I came in, and we bled the brakes, and it was black as the night. And then, so it definitely needed to be bled. I should have bled it after the test day. I didn't think I got them that hot, but apparently I did. And then, for some reason, that right caliper kept sticking. I don't know if it's because
you were talking to me about that.
Yeah, so like bled the brakes, took that caliper off, had the brakes out, pushed the fluid out, put it all back together. Had Dalton help me bleed the brakes, and like just cycle them and clamp onto the rotor and stuff. And it's like, for some reason when I came into pits, it just kept sticking to that rotor. I mean, I guess it's a little warped, but for some reason it just wouldn't just let me rotate through it. It just kind of get caught. And then it was fine.
Maybe it just needs greased up a little.
Yeah, and I didn't want to put anything in there because I didn't want it to drip onto the rotors and the pads and stuff. But yeah, I cycled them and like pushed. Like
it needs rebuilt.
It definitely. That's definitely on the agenda. But like, I pushed everything out. Like just had the pistons all the way out and then put it all back together, and it was fine the rest of the weekend. Yeah, like that. The 3 laps leading up to where I went off that time was just just felt weird, and I think it had something to do with the fact that my brakes were giving me issues. Not an excuse. I totally blew that corner. Don't get me wrong, but it happens. You just gotta get aggressive. But yeah, I mean, I had a good weekend. I mean, this is easy. I made a Facebook post and an Instagram post about it where I said like this is the most confident I felt in the car. Better part of a year, honestly. I didn't feel comfortable at NCM. I definitely didn't feel comfortable in the Z because I never got a chance to. But yeah, I was able to like really slide through corners and was pushing it. My limited slip is more slip than limited. Apparently, viscous is not the answer ever. So both cars are getting limited slips, so that'll be fun.
You gonna buy the good ones?
The Geikens?
Yeah,
at least one. Yeah, that's. I got a shim coming, so I can make it through the season and save money.
That's been heavily shimmed already, hasn't it?
No, neither of the ones I currently own are shimmed. They're both.
Oh, did you shim the one that was the factory diff?
I had the one I had in the 240 got shimmed, and then I sold that, and I've got the 350Z diff because it's got the bigger axles and it's more capable. And if I decide to throw in a limited slip, 350Zs are easier to come by. So I got those are both just factory viscous limited slips. So the one that's in the Z, I confirmed it is a viscous limited slip, but it is totally shot. because like you can spin the wheels when it's jacked up, and they both spin the right direction. And then when you put one side down and not the other, you can just spin that one wheel. So it's totally trashed. The 240s isn't anywhere near as bad as that, but you could feel it like going up turn 9. So you're basically going off camber uphill. That turn you could really tell it would take a minute to really catch. You sit and spin one wheel. Turn 1, I'd spin one wheel a little bit. Same coming out of turn 2. Coming out of turn 2 would be a little bit of a slip. So I mean, it wasn't anything too dramatic. Oh, and that turn that I blew through, what would that be? 6?
Turn 6.
Turn 6, you could really tell. I would fishtail coming out of there, but it didn't slow me down too bad.
So you definitely left some time on the table, some easy time on the table.
Oh, without question. But I improved as a driver because last year I was on nearly new Hankooks, and I put down a 127 something. And then this year I did a 127.33 on $10 Toyo RRs. So I feel like while the time may not have improved, I sure did, and I was able to drive quicker on less capable tires. So
cool.
Yeah, I'm happy where I'm at. There's some stuff I want to fix, and yeah, rebuild the brake calipers, shim the diff. Other than that, I mean, it drove well. It didn't give me any issues. So yeah, I'm super pumped. Got Heartland coming up in a couple weeks, assuming COVID doesn't shut down Kansas.
Yeah,
again.
I'm not holding my breath, to be honest. I realize everyone's like, yeah, right, dude. If they'll be open, I'm like, I don't know, man. But hey, I'll be ready if we have the event. I'll be ready. That's a job.
I'm glad you guys both had a good weekend. I'm super excited for Austin. Like, I really am. That you had so much fun, that it went so well for you. So
yeah, I want to get some more HPDs under my belt and stuff, and try to get an intermediate license, TT license through the SCCA, because I just have a novice right now, and
right.
Yeah, I want to be able to hang with these guys. So
you can hang; it's all good. You just got a few more events under your belt, and we're not too worried about your intermediate. You've already proven that you're more than capable of running with the group, and your track etiquette's strong. The only time I was ever concerned about track etiquette was when one of the club racer guys showed up Sunday, skipped the driver meeting, showed up to the session in his ST whatever. It was an MX-5 challenge car, and I'm not sure what class he was running, and probably expect me out of, but whatever. And he comes into our group saying, hey, no, I'm here doing time trials, and then I'm running the race next session. So this is just practice. I'm like, okay.
Oh.
To which I said, okay, well, you skipped the driver's meeting. We didn't tech you. We have all these issues here. So we're sitting in grid while everyone else is going on track because, again, they showed up late. So, like, I'm going through, like, all right, here's how we do passing. Here's how our sessions run. Just giving them a quick spiel. I'm like, okay, I know you're fully capable of driving. 5 of these guys in this session, it's their first weekend. Don't be a dick.
Yep.
Yeah. Luckily, it was fine. Like, he went out there for like 3 laps, came back in, they swapped wheels so he could go into the race session. But I was just like, why would you even bother, man? Like, that, what a hassle.
Had he never been to that track before? Or
I don't know. But I think he was from like Florida or something. Like, they flew him in. And then, yeah, so I mean, like, he had a coach with him for his time trial sessions, and like, but they were like, yeah, they showed up and they had all sorts of issues their first few sessions, got it sorted out so they could do the race, and they came back for the second session. But I mean, he was super quick with this car. I mean, he's a fully capable driver. It was just like, man, we've had such a good weekend, but I don't want you to have the red mist because you're a club racer practicing for a race against a couple of guys that have only done 1, maybe 2 track days. Let's make sure we're all on the same page here.
I assume because he flew in, and has like a coach and stuff. I mean, it's probably not necessarily true, but I would assume that he's done a lot of track time then. But that might just mean he has a bunch of money and not necessarily anything else.
But. He was like 15. But yes,
there were quite a few of those though.
He had a lot of track time. Yes. He was more than capable of being there. He was more than capable of racing with anybody. He was a very, very good driver. I just wanted to make sure sitting in grid like, hey, please don't run down everyone's bumpers. I know you're going to be faster than a lot of these guys, even with their cars being faster than yours. Give them a break. But yeah. It was a non-issue. Jeez. That was the only time I was like really nervous about the whole weekend just going to shit.
Well, I don't know about group one, but I know in our group too, like I had plenty of room too as the newbie in that group. So
yeah, we didn't. We had one out lap, and I think that was a video that Dalton posted or somebody posted where it was just like we got bunched up right away. We didn't take a really quick out lap, and everyone got bunched up. But I mean, it took all of a lap to get everyone situated.
In that same video, you see me like coming up the hill, like way behind everybody else. So
me too. If I can, like especially on that track where it's not even 15 cars over the entire course, like we can spread out. It's not an advantage to be anywhere near anybody else right now. Yeah. So if I can, I always give extra room, especially in that situation. But
yeah, I mean, the only time I tried to hang with anybody was when they came out in front of me or they passed me. I let Dusty and Dalton both pass me. Tried to hang with them for like one or two corners, and that just wasn't going to happen. And then you came out in front of me once, and I just tried to pace you just a little bit, and that actually ended up being my fastest lap of the weekend. So
I take credit for that.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Oh, and then also Austin brought me hoppy refreshers and made my weekend even better.
Oh man, look at that!
What a nice guy.
Oklahoma's not that bad.
What a suck up!
It was nice.
I just wanted to be nice. All right.
Yeah, he wanted to be Iowa nice in Oklahoma. All
right. You know I got to give you shit for it, though. Come on.
I just wanted to be a nice guy and say, hey, thanks for letting me come. I know that this could potentially go very sideways.
No, there was never worry about that.
I was never worried about it, but I know that you stuck your neck out leading into that. So
not really. I knew it was going to be fine.
Robbie rules with an iron fist.
Not really, but but I knew, like, even just the questions he asked in the original messages, it's just like he was clearly not there to like win the weekend. It was more of a, I want to get comfortable on track. I want to learn, I want to make the right decisions. Like, well, then you're clearly already in the right mindset. I'm not worried about you.
Yeah.
Like if you're going into it going, okay, how do we approach these sessions? What's passing? Like all that stuff. It's like, yeah. Well, if you're already thinking of that and that's your focus, then no, it won't be a problem. If your goal is to not be a dick, we're halfway there.
Should we do some news?
Yeah, we've been on the show for forever.
Yeah, I think this is getting a little long. We only have two news segments, so it shouldn't be too bad.
All right, presented by Apex Pro. I used mine all weekend. I was able to go through some data and kind of confirm some of my suspicions, but I was able to see where I was losing time. Some of my braking techniques and stuff that I know I need to work on. So it's good to kind of go back through and compare those to my track notes. I know Dusty borrowed his. Sorry. He borrowed our spare one, and he was actually impressed, and he liked it. So maybe Dusty needs an Apex Pro.
I think he does.
I think he does too. But yeah, it's, as always, I'm always impressed with the data that comes out of these and the support that we get from Andrew and the guys over at Apex Pro. So if you are looking for a way to improve on track, just follow the lights. Green means you're improving. Red means you're leaving time on the table for sure. So it's just a wonderful tool. ApexTrackCoach.com. If you use the code 1010 you get a free window mount. I would definitely recommend this. I've been recommending it for, I don't know, years, it seems. People need to start buying them because you are missing out. That's all I got.
First up, the 2021 Ford F-150 has been revealed.
I like it.
There's a lot of stuff.
There's a lot to like
on this truck. There's a ton of things in this truck. So,
it looks like a traditional. Looks like a truck.
Yep.
They didn't try to reinvent that. So that's a good place to start.
They didn't take any Cybertruck cues,
which is good.
Yeah. The big thing right off the bat for me, the hybrid powertrain. It's been tried in trucks before. It hasn't worked very well in trucks before. As far as from a selling standpoint, I think GM had that for a while. You still every once in a while see a Suburban with hybrid logos on it.
Yep.
But I think the time people are starting to accept the hybrid or the electric and kind of move on from from being so against it.
I think if you use it not just in it's a great fuel economy way, but if you use it in a way like we use the electrical power for the torque, so you can tow a shitload of weight.
That's what I was thinking. Like this was going to be like fantastic for around town towing.
Yeah,
like with the electric motor built into it.
Yeah, from a start.
Yeah, I think if you utilize it differently and market it differently, I think they have a much better chance. But yeah, if you try to market it as now you get 23 miles to the gallon, it's the best, and I don't think it's going to sell that way. But if you can market as you can tow 14,000 pounds with your F-150, yes, it's going to sell.
Crazy.
I think this is.
I'm pulling a number.
This is saying 12,000.
Still, that's
crazy.
A lot.
That's
for
crazy
for the entry level truck.
That's my Duramax towing capacity. So
that is a 2,500 Duramax. Yeah, that's crazy. But
I know another one of the things that I think is super cool. I'm sure Austin's probably in on it as well. This Pro Power Pack thing that they're putting, which is basically like 7,500 watt.
Yeah, I was looking at that
generator essentially.
I was a little skeptical on it. I was just like, oh, it's just like a power inverter built in the bed. And then I read the article and I was like, oh, this is actually kind of cool. Like,
yeah.
It was just last Friday that some of my guys had to leave a job site because power went out. Like, if we had one of those in a company truck, like, keep working, man. Like, you still have it.
I use a generator on my truck every single day. And I can't tell you how many times it comes in handy for things that aren't necessarily what it was originally. Just this week I pulled it up next to a building because we had to drill through the brick wall to get the fiber inside the building. Yep. And instead of having to, either drag a generator out or run 250 feet of extension cord, I pulled my truck right up next to it. I fired up the generator. We drilled the hole. We moved on with our life. It was, I hate using cordless tools for that sort of heavy duty work because it's unnecessarily hard on. I realize my drill has a hammer mode, but I'm drilling an 1.25 inch or 1.5 inch hole through brick. That's not necessarily what it's for.
Yeah, you don't need a battery powered tool to do that. You need
so we have like an SDS hammer drill and it makes quick work of that hole. But if you don't have power, well, it's annoying to I forgot the generator at the shop or I'm 10 foot short on my extension cord. Well, with this truck you just back it right up to wherever you need to be and you do your thing. So I think that's awesome. I think I would use it just as much not at work as I would at work, honestly. Dude, it'd be so good at the track.
All right, so let's take a step back. What does it all entail?
So
basically, it's a power box at the back of the bed, so you can hook up 3 different extension cords to it.
Yeah,
so it looks like it has 120 and 240 volt outlets.
Weld from this thing.
Depending on which one you buy, it's either a 2.4K watt or a 7.2K watt. So 2,400 or 7,200 watts available, which is crazy. 7,200 watts is crazy power.
It's awesome. It says you can run a 120 volt TIG welder on it.
Yeah, so. I can't imagine that would be a problem at all.
Every pickup needs this.
Dude, it's so cool, isn't it?
Everything.
I guess the power comes from the high voltage battery pack that's part of the hybrid system.
I'm sold on the hybrid now. I'll tell you that much. Maybe I should wait another year and buy this
instead of using just like essentially a big car audio amplifier as an inverter, because that's kind of what they are. Because you can buy big inverters. A lot of our trucks at work have them on there, like 2,400 watt inverters, and they literally look like car audio amplifiers. But this one's pulling off the high voltage battery pack that the truck uses for the hybrid system, which is an interesting strategy. So yeah, and there's just a little cover in the back corner, like the driver's side corner of the box, and you open that up, and there's plugins right there.
God, that's so convenient.
So I assume you probably need to have the truck running to use it too long. I would imagine they'll let you use it for a little while without the truck running, but I'm sure you probably need it running for a while or after a while. But that would be enough to run most anything you need at a track day. If you had like a small air compressor that you threw in the back, or charge batteries for an impact, for wheel changing stuff, or whatever. That'd be so handy at the track. Good.
Or if you need to TIG weld some shit, whatever you need.
If you need to TIG weld some shit, you buy the big boy and you want to do some TIG welding.
It happens.
On the air conditioner on your ridiculous trailer you just bought.
Yes. Every pickup needs this. This is wonderful.
I think it's cool.
Here at the track's pretty sweet. It's got like a miter saw stand and like some C-clamp stuff in the tailgate too. Like some rulers and stuff built into it. Like, it all seems kind of gimmicky, but I think that I would absolutely use it.
It's more useful than the extra tilt bed thing Chevy tried doing.
Yeah.
This is all useful.
The weird tailgate,
which costs an extra
$1,000 and flips down and does all these stupid things that I don't want.
Trailer hitch,
This is useful. The Chevy stuff's not useful as much.
The thing about this is, and the thing that I don't like about it is I don't think that you're going to be able to get this hybrid package on anything except for like the $90,000 half-ton truck, and so it's not really going to be in the hands of the people who need it the most. But
I would be.
If they put this on the XL models, like, fleets would sell this no problem.
I think to start, I'll bet you to start they'll be on like limiteds and platinums, and that's it.
Yeah.
But I bet I wouldn't be surprised if a few years down the road from this system being introduced, they'll put out a work truck edition that can get this package on it.
Yeah, they'll sell the shit out of it
after they've made their money on it a little by putting it on the platinums for a little while. I wouldn't be surprised if the rest of us can get it.
I read this article and I was like, replacement for the Jeep. I need it.
Yeah.
You do.
This looks really nice. So
yeah. Dude, the center console desk thing.
That'd be so handy, man.
Oh, so good.
Like I'm left-handed, so like,
yeah, me too.
Trying to even right-handed on the center console doesn't work for me.
Nope.
Yeah, so basically what happens is the center console flips flat, so it covers like the cup holders and all that stuff in the front. So you have just like a small desk in the center console. It's super. The
shifter
handy.
folds flat into the center console.
Oh, that's right. The shifter's
and then it opens, like, so that the shifter lever is not in the way, and that's kind of neat too. But essentially, what that means is this desk only works in park, as it should.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't be doing it while you're driving.
Yeah.
That's fine though. Like I have this little like laptop holder, like aftermarket.
I have one of those in my Duramax,
and I don't like it. It's okay, but it's also really in the way when you're not using it.
Mine like can slide over out of the way and tighten down, but then it's just in the passenger's space.
Well, I often have a passenger.
I often do not, because that's where sleeping bags go. But
right.
Yeah. No, this is a very nice looking truck. And
it's got the power outlet in the front too. For a plug-in for your laptop. Yeah. A lot of the new trucks have that regardless, but it's nice to see that everywhere now. I don't like, if I have to nitpick, because there's really not a lot that I dislike about this truck. If I have to nitpick, I think that the screen is too big, and I don't like how touchscreeny it is.
Yeah, I think that screen, the bigger one, is like a 12-inch screen. Like, I don't need an iPad in the dash.
Nope, I hate that. That being said, it's integrated into the dash at least, so I appreciate that.
It's not a Tesla.
It's not a tablet sitting on top of the dash.
Exactly.
Like every new Mercedes.
Oh, I hate that.
Tesla.
I hate it so bad. But no, it's at least twice as big as it needs to be.
And there are still some knobs there, at least. Well, I don't know if they're knobs or just circular buttons, but like at least the heater controls aren't integrated into the touch screen and stuff like that. Which
that's nice.
The edges is, and that's awful.
Yeah, see, that just annoys me. So
yeah, there's a lot I like about this truck. I really do.
It's going to be $80,000. You just know it.
Yeah, it is.
It's going to be $80,000.
They already show is there's King Ranch? Is that what Ford sells?
Yeah, it's King Ranch, Platinum, and Limited are going to get all this cool stuff.
Yeah, you can see there's a picture there with the King Ranch leather seats and stuff like that. And
love it. I love it.
You would. Fucking Oklahomans, man.
I didn't realize how common brown leather interior was until I started really shopping for trucks this week.
Is that a high country for on the list?
What? All right, Austin, you go. I couldn't hear you.
Is there a high country on your list of Chevrolets?
There's one, yes.
Yes. Does it have the brown leather interior?
That one does, yes.
Yeah.
So brown's not a deal breaker?
Brown is not a deal breaker, but it's definitely not the direction I want to go. I want black or gray, but there's a surprisingly large number of brown interiors on my list, yes. Apparently white pickups. Actually, the worst part is when you get like a black pickup with the brown interior. I don't get it, but they're out there.
Yeah, I don't like that color combo.
No, it's terrible.
If it's like a white pickup with a brown interior,
that works the best for me.
Yeah.
I can live with that. I can't think what color it was. I want to say it's a red one with a brown interior, and that one doesn't really work either. There was one that I really liked the truck until I realized the brown interior kind of ruined it because it just didn't work. It didn't make sense. But hey, if it checks all the other boxes, I can live with a brown interior.
Yeah, is what it is, I guess, right?
As long as my butt's warm, I don't care.
Serious.
But that being said, if it has wood panel dash stuff, that shit's getting covered with brushed aluminum day one.
You got wood grain on the dash, son. You need it, man.
Half of them have wood grain, and the first thing I'm ordering is vinyl that covers it up.
Is it better now than it was in your Avalanche, at least?
No, it's all the same shit.
I disagree. I think it's better than before.
There's less of it, which makes that better, but it's still terrible. I'd rather have Cowboy Tribal.
That's a stretch for sure. I don't know.
I do draw the line at Cowboy Tribal.
Oh, Dalton's truck is so over the top with the Cowboy
I get the
Tribal.
Dalton, he bought it wrecked and he got a hell of a deal on it or whatever. But it's
a statement,
rough, man.
It's a statement.
So
anyway,
next up, Mugello.
I was going to say Mugello, but I know that's
anybody?
Not right. I'm from Iowa.
Is it Mugello?
Dude. Yeah.
Okay. Mugello Circuit could host Ferrari's 1,000th Formula One Grand Prix.
I really hate the way they wrote the title for this. Mugello Circuit will host Ferrari's 1,000th Formula One Grand Prix.
There's still very much a could
report
in there.
Yep. The title says will. There's no will about it. It's all speculation at this point. That being said, it's a great idea. It's a wonderful idea.
So cool. It would be super cool.
It's a super cool track, and if you're ever going to do it this year. It's perfect timing for doing something different. I
think that Liberty might make this happen.
Yeah,
they'd
be foolish not,
especially because it's such a weird year for F1.
Mm-hmm.
I would expect this to absolutely happen.
I would too, and they're already in Italy. They'd expect it to be the weekend after the Monza race.
Yeah.
Does that track have the seating capacity that a normal F1 track would have?
I believe that it does.
I think
actually.
So.
That's not a small circuit.
I mean, Ferrari,
because obviously, this year that doesn't matter so much, But of all years, maybe for that reason alone, if it didn't have the crowd capacity, this would be a good year for it. But I guess if it does, it doesn't matter either way. I am a little surprised. Did I read this right? That they've never raced there?
Nope, they haven't. Not that I'm aware of.
That surprises me.
I'm surprised that Imola is not on the list over this, but
this is their track.
So
Ferrari owns this track.
I'm looking at the track on Google Maps right now, just the satellite view.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like they have enough grandstands, but also it's Italy, so they might not even be allowing spectators.
Right, which is why this year's a good year to do it.
Yeah.
Because even if they are allowing spectators, it's going to be, number one, there's not going to be as many people that come to begin with. And number two, it's going to be limited by law as well.
Yeah.
And so, it makes a cool story. It might make a few more people watch it on TV. You're not losing any of the on-site revenue because you're not going to get it anyway. Why not do it? So,
no, I think it's a win-win. I think people want to see it. I think it'll be a fun circuit to have a race at. And if you're already in Italy, might as well.
Yeah, there's a couple of doubles on the calendar right now anyway. So it would make sense for them to do 2, if not 3 races in Italy. Because
this makes a triple week or 3 weekends in a row, doesn't it?
Right now it looks like it goes Belgian, Italian, and then if they did it the next weekend, it'd be triple. So it'd be 3 weekends in a row of F1.
Jeez. Do it. I'd love to see it.
It wouldn't be the first time that they've done 3, so that's just a lot. It's a lot. Guys. Yeah, and the drivers weren't a fan of it.
Yeah, that's a lot to do in 3 weeks.
So, but the calendar right now, it's all European.
Well, we can assume that calendar is going to stop at the European. There's no way they're coming to America.
I know that there's no way that they're coming here, but by the rules, they need to be on more than one continent.
Oh, really?
So I'm sure that they'll do some race in the Middle East.
Yeah, you got Abu Dhabi and Azerbaijan, and you can those. They'll make those races happen.
Brazil is out.
Oh, for sure. They're as bad as we are right now.
Really? The calendar right now is next weekend, Austria. The following weekend, Austria. The following weekend, Hungary. Then we go to Silverstone, and then we have that 2 weeks in a row, Spain, the Belgian Grand Prix, and then Italy. So that's the calendar as of right now. But they're going to add to that, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah. My first guess would be somewhere like Abu Dhabi or something. Definitely not Canada, definitely not United States, and definitely not Brazil.
Yeah.
This is cool about the possibility of racing at this track here. Ricciardo, everybody's favorite friendly race car driver, says that he raced the circuit back in 2007 and that it was his favorite track that season, that he loves the flowing high speed corners, and he thinks the F1 would be amazing there.
I'm in. I'm sold.
Says, quote, the cars now, these 2020 cars around there would be insane. I'm certainly excited if that one takes place. So
it looks like a fun track.
Coolest, friendliest dude ever. He seems like, anyway. He's like one of the guys I think would be cool to hang out with.
Let's have him on the show.
Yeah.
All right, let's get him on. Make it happen.
Let's just make that phone call. It's fine.
Austin will definitely be back that week.
I'll be a listener for sure. I'll be like, guys, can I be in the Zoom meeting just to hang out? Just turn my mic off.
I'll be on mute. I just want to be there.
Yeah, we could do like that. I'm in. Just have the spectator side. That's an extra.
Any questions from the peanut gallery?
Yeah, that's a next tier of Zoom meetings I have to sign up for.
That'll be on our
Patreon.
Yeah, I was going to say fire up your Patreon and then do it like that.
Oh man. But I have one last thing, Adam.
Uh-oh. This sounds bad.
I have a present.
Oh, Jesus Christ. From who?
It's from Dusty.
Okay.
Because he gave me a shirt that fits me.
Okay.
It's not a medium. It's a large medium, so it fits me nice. It covers my arms good. Like
the disco
shows. Yeah, the
disco heat or whatever his race car shirt says.
Yep. So
disco,
I got
disco fire, something like this.
Yep,
something like that.
I got a nice shirt, but he also got you this, extra large Gildan heavy cotton T-shirt.
Okay. Is this the Volvo?
From Volvo Motorsports.
Yes.
But you know what makes
I'm excited about this shirt.
All right. Well, you know what makes it special? Here, it's on the back. It's got the S6 the S60R design. But it's got this weird mark on it right here.
Yeah.
What's number 6? Huh.
I don't remember who it was that was the driver, but it's been autographed.
Oh, wait. It's Randy Popst.
That's who it is.
That's amazing.
So Dusty.
That's who it is.
Dusty gave this to me, and I'm not giving it to you till you come to my house again.
Oh. You bastard.
So it's going to sit here collecting dust, or I'm going to wear it.
Put it on Flatham.
You can't wear that. It's been signed.
What if I wash it? Oh,
You'll
man.
wash off the... Oh, I'd be so pissed. So pissed.
It'll sit right here safely.
I'm excited. I totally forgot about
I'll wear it around the house.
He's told me about that months ago. He's like, I don't ever wear this. And I was like, he's like, I think you'd get a kick out of this. Like,
yeah.
Hell yeah. If you don't want it, I will take it.
Hang it on the wall if I have to. I don't care.
Yeah, that's super cool. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, Dusty got you a cool gift.
So, neat. Well, Austin, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, man. Thanks for a fun weekend.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I'm glad you had fun at the racetrack, and hopefully one of these days I'll be able to go when you're there too. So,
well, if he's there next year, definitely.
Yeah, come to Hallett next year, and then just have Dalton put the Omni in that huge stacker trailer of his.
I'm sure you could fit another car in there.
Yeah, I gotta reserve my space.
I mean,
he does. Yeah, tell Dalton
he doesn't. Just strap it on top.
Yeah, tell him he doesn't need to bring two of his own. Tell him to be a team player.
By then, Robbie will have his own multi-car trailer and his own Kodiak, and I'll just hitch a ride with Robbie. It'll be fine.
Jess is less than impressed at the price of the vehicles I'm looking at, but yes, that's the next step. That's the next step. Yes,
I still think that what you need to do is just keep the Avalanche and buy a mid-level RV.
That's hard. That one's harder to get sold.
Like a $12,000 to $15,000 RV.
I've been looking at old C-Class RVs this week too.
He says it's shame.
Yeah.
There's no shame, but yes, I've done the same thing.
I think that's the ticket, man, because most of your long hauls are going to be with the RV, and then you still got the Avalanche to do your stuff around the house or whatever.
I know.
So,
I know.
That's the ticket.
Yeah.
Don't listen to him.
That one's a little harder to sell, but getting a truck with a different trailer was easier to sell. So,
different trailer?
Well, not this year, but yeah, next year.
That's fair.
Getting a bigger trailer that is enclosed and I could do stuff with and sleep in there rather than a tent. So we've gone down that path, and she's fine with that, but she was not okay with the campers that I have presented her with. Maybe because I tried too hard to go all the way to Josh Fettis level. I was like, look at the price of this 42-foot long behemoth. Where are we going to park it? Well, next to the shop. Apparently that's not enough room. So I have to fight my battles, and that one's an easier battle to fight.
Jesus.
Yeah.
All right, let's shut this down.
All right, I'll catch you guys next week.